It's another episode of Built From Nothing podcast. I'm your host, Sean. It's my guy, Nell. And I'm here today with a special guest, the unpluckable, extremely quick, plug and play point guard, Tione Womack. Hey, thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate it. We here to just give you your flowers. You was one of my favorite players growing up. I always loved to compete against you. And, I'm just here to let people know your journey, how you got to point A to point B.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
I'm going to start out by talking about, I played against you since I was like 7, right? You went to Chick-Webb. I was Johnny, I felt like when we was kids, even in the citywide championship, BNBL championship, Project Survival championship, we always saw you, and I got either the most extreme happiness when we beat y'all and the most tears from when we lost to y'all. Tell me how you got started playing at Chick-Webb.
Well, really, I walked in Chick-Webb probably was like 6 or 7,
Mm-hmm.
so I've been down there basically like my whole youth career, and I just was like installed in the coaching. My father always was on me about winning, and that's what I was walking into, a winning program really. So ever since the ball was in my hand and with Coach Gerald, playing under him, playing under guys like Lil Nate, Ashton, Delano, Marcus, and them, they was just winners.
Mm-hmm.
Play hard, practice every day. So that's what I grew up under. So that's what I just had in my mind, just win the game, be a winner, do what it takes to win.
I don't know if that was a real thing, but even, my older brother played for Johnny too.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a rivalry with them as well. So I don't know if it was just meant to be, it was just the one being kind of over west, the other one being over east. I don't really know. But, I remember a lot of tears when we played y'all. I'm just letting you know. So we're going to jump straight to high school, right? What high school you started out going to?
I started at Dunbar, but I ended up just not focusing on school, not paying attention in class, just being a knucklehead. Ended up getting put out of Dunbar and went to Randallstown.
Who was at Dunbar that year when you first got
there?
there?
Dunbar was loaded. Loaded, to the point some guys that was in 11th grade had to play JV until playoff time. They was loaded. They could have had 2 varsity teams that year.
Really?
A lot of them, you had probably guys, like you said, guys from Johnny,
Mm-hmm.
guys from Mount Road, guys from Madison, guys from Chick-Webb. Then you had a lot of football guys that can play basketball too.
Right.
So they was low. There was a lot of guys down there, but they probably was. Yeah, I don't know. I probably would probably been JV for a couple games.
Who were some of the guys that was on that team?
Varsity, you had Lil Nate, like I said. You had Marcus, Delano, Ron Edwards, Craig Singletary, Dante Holcomb.
Yeah, that's tough.
There was a lot of guys down there. Then you got to think about it. You had the youngins. You had, not even say youngins, they older than us, but you had Ashton, Lil Art, Maurice Poteet. That's just the name of food, and they God. So I'm behind them already, you feel me? Then you name the older guys, so I just can't, they was the guys I was looking up to anyway, because I practiced with them.
That's tough.
Coming every day. We was down Chick-Webb, then you go not even 5 minutes.
Right.
I'm right there, the same thing. So, yeah, they was loaded, top to bottom.
So, Randallstown, all the way on the other side. Matter of fact, not even the other side, all the way
That's
too far. So, how you get to Randallstown?
Well, my sister was going to Randallstown when I was from high school, from the jump. So, Rivers, he used to always tell my sister, I need your son, I need your brother, I want your brother. So that was always a school in the back of my head. I think about going up there, but I knew nothing about out here. I didn't even know Randallstown was out here. And when I got put out of Dunbar, it felt like that was just the perfect thing.
Right.
Get away from everything that you're comfortable with, new beginning, new start. Ain't like I was by myself because I had my sister, but
right.
And then also they was a good basketball program that I didn't know about, but as I did my research, came into it, when I went to school, seeing how they practice and everything, it was something I needed to be in.
Mm-hmm. First year you got that sophomore year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you play
No.
varsity?
I got out there in the end of my
Freshman
freshman
year.
year.
Right, but you couldn't play,
Yeah,
right?
I didn't get to play.
So you go there your sophomore year,
Mm-hmm.
and varsity off the.
Yeah, that was a wild scenario for real. Cause me coming in, I didn't play my freshman year.
Right.
So I'm thinking JV.
Mm-hmm.
So like it sound crazy, but I walk in JV trials. They like, yo, you in varsity? I'm like, nah, I'm trying to play. I ain't going to varsity.
Right.
Yo, get out of here. So I thought I was playing JV, but I ended up on varsity. It was a rough beginning for real because they was testing me, see if I was gonna break down, if I was tough enough for it. But it all panned out that way for me.
So then you didn't get to play no JV. So kind of talk about that transition because I know for most guys when you go from JV to varsity, the game kind of speed up a little bit. So you came straight from Chick-Webb straight to varsity. Kind of talk about that transition.
Yeah, that was a big transition, honestly, because like you said, I ain't played no games.
Right.
Except for AAU ball. And we barely did that because we was in high school. So,
Right.
you know, when our generation, it was done, basically. AAU
Right.
was done. So, practice was cool. I was playing and all that, but our first game was against a rival with Woodlawn. So, I didn't start. So, I'm on the bench, paranoid, like, I hope he don't throw me in, just throw me out there to the fire. Wasn't in 3 minutes. I just heard my name. So, I actually... One of the assistant coaches like, yo, he called me. Like, yo, get in the game. So, you know, I was playing with Johnny, Lyndon, DJ. Mind you, I was the point guard, but I ain't gonna lie, I was still kind of trying to figure it out. Like, I didn't know what was really going on, how the game was supposed to be played. So I got out the ball. I ain't want it. Like, Johnny, like, yo, let me get my feet wet. My first real shot was a 3. Y'all know, like I know, I'm not trying to shoot no 3.
Right.
I shot it. I'm saying, air ball, get back. I hit it though, and that's when it just started clicking. Like, all right, this the same basketball. It's just the guys you was playing with, grew up with, they just older now.
Right.
So, but it clicked back, and it was just all she wrote from there.
Yeah, you say Lyndon. I remember Lyndon and Johnny Higgins. That was my guys.
Yeah.
So that first year you there, you was just so did you end up starting in that year?
Yeah, further down, like a couple more games down the line, I ended up starting. Probably like the 5th game in the season, I ended up starting.
And in that year, y'all ended up winning the state title. It was a repeat for the people that was there, but it was your first taste of winning. Like, what did that do for your confidence?
It really, just showed me, yo, the doubts you had in your mind, because coming from when I was younger, being a Chick-Webb, even though, we had a winning background, but I ain't really get the praise or respect as a good player, you get what I'm saying? Right. So it just helped me, motivated me, yo, what you doing is enough. Just keep doing it. Don't never doubt yourself no more. And then it just build the confidence where as though I felt like, yeah, I belong playing with y'all.
Right.
I'm not just a point guard. I can control the game. I can win the game. I know what it takes, when to score, when not to score. So all that was just started all right, I'm one of them, if you know what I mean.
For sure.
That confidence came from me. That first one, it was all right. Then it helped me because that game, I don't know if a lot of people know it, but Johnny fouled out. So it was really me.
Right.
I had Lyndon and DJ, but Lyndon really didn't want to not saying knocking my man game because he was, like you said, we can play up and down. He's a high flyer, he can shoot the 3. But it was just us 3 out there. We ain't have our main score. So I had to, like you said, I had to step up. And when I did that, I was just like, yo, all right.
Yeah.
Next year is going to be even worse for people. I'm trying to do the same thing. So my confidence was just
I already
on
know.
top of the world for real.
I already know. Coming to high school, go straight to varsity, win the state championship.
So then you come back the following year and y'all do the same thing. Y'all come back and repeat for you, a 3-peat for them. You even showed me the ring. It got 3-peat on the ring.
Yeah.
That's tough. So now you at an all-time high. Because I remember, looking in the paper, because I was one of them dudes that checked the paper, and I'm just reading about you and Randallstown, how y'all just, all tough. But those dudes that you played with prior to that, they gone now. And now you're a senior. Tell me, what was that like?
Well, senior year, it was really like a role. I had to change my whole role up. It was not you can't just be a point guard. You can't be a general. You got to really score now. And it was hard, for real. I ain't going to lie. Regular season, counties, and all that. It was kind of you can still play your regular game, but when it got time to hoop, that was really like a challenge. Like a couple of my coaches would like cuss me out. Like, yo, you not hooping? I'm like, coach, we up 10.
Right.
I got 10 and 10. What's the problem? Yo, that ain't enough. I'm like, what's not enough? We win it. Then it hit. Like, you see why it ain't enough? We in dog fights with teams we not supposed to be even on the court with right now. Oh, because I'm not looking at it like, yo, kill. So that right there, the senior year, I think I had to become more of a scorer.
Right.
More of a scorer without no help with like Johnny or without Kimmy being there, DJ. It was more so I had Reds, Alex Jackson, for a lot of people don't know him as Reds, but we had a solid team, but we had a lot of guys that was their first time, like my 10th grade year, getting that chance on varsity.
Right.
So I had to become a scorer.
We played y'all that year, and y'all was up by like 50 against us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all probably end up winning like 35 because of the bench played. But, yo, playing y'all that year, I feel like even that year, like y'all didn't win that year. When y'all end up getting?
That was my senior year. We lost.
Y'all went to the finals though.
So we went to the
Still tough.
state championship.
I really never, in my years watching you at Randallstown, I feel like I never really seen too many complete teams. Like I feel like however they wanted to give it to the play, I mean like whatever team they was playing against, y'all had it all. Point guard, shooting guard. You know what I'm saying? Your game to me, you controlled the tempo. You knew how you worked at your own pace. Nobody ever, made you sped up enough. And like, where did that mindset come from?
That started back like just with my father and Coach Gerald. For real. Like my father really just like, yo, you gotta learn how to control the game. But it was just, I thought it was just calling the play, making sure everybody doing this right. Until I got like in real AAU basketball, Coach Gerald sat down and was just like, you really an extension of me. I shouldn't be coaching some of these games. I should be sitting back, chilling, laughing at y'all. So I'm like, what you mean? He like, yo, you the coach on the floor. I'm like, as I got older, Randallstown, that's when it really hit me.
Understood it.
So now I'm like, I don't like not waving Rivers off, but I'm like, yo, I can control it. I got it, yo, I got it. And he really gave me that control, like, go ahead.
Right.
He would call sets and all that, but it was just like you said, I was controlling. If I felt like, say for instance, X wasn't working at that moment, I didn't think X was going to work. He had no problem with me saying, yo, no, run 31.
Right.
He would always control defense because he's a defensive coach.
Yeah, 100%.
So I would have to be in compliance on that. But as far as the offensive motor, like you said, I always looked at myself as the glue guy. And if I ain't rolling, we not gonna roll.
Right.
So that was just my mindset. You the extended version of the coach, and that installments came from like Coach Gerald, my father.
That reflect how I remember you playing. So, boom, time to graduate high school. Anybody recruiting you?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's recruitment because I knew how the coaches knew. Like, ain't nobody recruiting you, T. Your GPA terrible. You ain't got no grades. You can play, but how we gonna get you in here? So I would get the letters, interest and all that, like a couple of D1s, couple of D2s. But I knew in my heart that I couldn't do it for real, so I didn't. I brushed it off. But I had a couple schools. Rhode Island was really heavy though, but out of the couple schools that was looking, Rhode Island was the most one.
So what was next?
Really, I was kind of lost, for real. I didn't know what I was going to do. Then Coach Bullock came up with a little opportunity for us to go down to North Carolina.
Right.
That situation kind of folded, came back home, and Coach Bullock, my father, and Weasel came into play. That's when Weasel came into play.
Man, Weasel.
Like, my father and Weasel always been click tight. Like, they always had a basketball relationship. So Weasel said, yo, I got an opportunity for you. I don't know if you're going to take it. It's going to be the best thing for you in my eyes. I knew nothing about this move, which was Hagerstown. I'm like, hey, I didn't even know where it was at. Like, I knew nothing about it, but I went up there.
Right.
Went up there, I was just like, yo, I don't know. This is a little hike. It's an hour away. The whole time I was going to be seeing more of the world than that. But at that time, I was like, I can't sit in Baltimore. I took the opportunity. And the first year up there, like, you know, Coach Brown, JB, and Barry, they getting to it. And like, we in the financial aid office. Coach Barry wanted me to play after we had open gym.
Right.
JB didn't want me to play. He wanted me to sit out, get my grades together, get my GPA together. So, at that point, that's when it was tug and play. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to hoop.
Right.
So that whole first year, it was tough because I couldn't really focus on the grades without playing. I'm like, yo, what am I doing this for? I was still a little kid.
Right.
You just there to hoop.
You feel me? I was just there to hoop, but eventually I started figuring out, like, yo, just do something, you feel me? Do a little something. You got all the time in the world. You're not playing right now. So I ended up getting my grades right. So I was still playing, practicing. Then that next year, that's when that figured out to be one of the best moves I ever made at Hagerstown.
Yeah, I mean, coming in that season, I we talked about it before. Like, you felt like that was one of the best teams you played on, and you coming off of 2 state title teams.
I say a lot, bro.
Yeah, talk about that first year at JUCO.
That first year, like, actually playing.
Yeah, actually playing.
I want to say it was just, like, why I think that was one of my favorite teams is honest because, like, no knock Randallstown, they was great years. But that team, just, like, all of us had a mission.
Yeah.
That was our goal, like, 1 through 8, we was getting D1 no matter what. So our intensity, it reminded me of Randallstown. Not saying the coaching and all that, but, like, how we wanted to win, it was the same thing. But as far as playing with dominant bigs that can play inside, outside, guys that, you feel me, like we know Devin, that was just streaky, can shoot, can score. We all played defense. We all wanted to win. And it was just like, yo, we can probably beat some D1s in here.
Yo, real talk.
And that was the craziest thing. Like, teams was, like, schools was calling. We wasn't even worried about schools and nothing like that. We just was like, yo, we got to win. We got to win. And that was just like, wow, I love that team so much. Everybody on that team really bought in. And like I said, every team has roles. Every player got a role. And nobody really got outside of their role unless it was wanted from the rest of the team. Like, yo, no, you go do it.
Did y'all end up winning the conference that year?
That year, we ended up winning the conference, but we didn't win Maryland JUCO that year.
Okay.
We lost to Maryland JUCO. We lost to Omar at Cecil.
Yeah, it was tough.
They had a tough team that year, too.
You was talking about the roles, right? So you said your senior year you had to score a little bit more. So now you're at Hagerstown. What kind of role they got you in?
At Hagerstown, like, he didn't really give me a role. It was more so like he gave me the keys to do whatever I wanted to do from the jump. So, but like I said, my mindset was like, yo, you ain't come up here just to waste time and just to hoop. I'm really trying to get D1.
Right.
So just talking to people, talking to guys that did what I did, JUCO to D1, so everybody just was like, yo, you got to score. You can't just be passive Tiana no more. You got to score. So I just went in the game like, all right, I don't think he can play me.
Go get
If somebody help, I know I'm smart enough to make the right play. I'm not no hawk, but my mentality was like, get a bucket.
Right.
And then at the time, I was just shoot. I was shooting threes. I was just like, I was confident. So I just was like, yo, I'm the best player on the court.
Straight up.
That was just my mentality at the moment.
So I say a lot talking about the team that you was on. Everybody you talked about, you spoke real highly of. So.
And that was another thing too. They was like not saying they ain't believing in themselves to be the best player on the team, but they like deferred to me like, yo, we going with you going. If you saying like, say for instance, I will get him me to the ball, and if he shoot 3 threes, make 1, then he shoot another, like shoot an air ball out of that 3.
Right.
I wasn't afraid to like, all right, yo, that's it.
Right,
Go get a rebound, dunk the ball.
Right.
And he would respect that.
Right.
And I'll take that same heat with them. If I go in there and miss 3 layups back to back, then I turn the ball over. Yo, you forcing, yo. Now, I had to respect it.
Y'all hold each
and
other
that was another big thing about that team. Nobody was afraid to put a person in their place.
Right.
And if it wasn't working, yo, give me the ball. Go down there, go do something else. So that was a respect thing, and we were just all wanted the same mission.
I mean, I ended up going to Hagerstown the following year, and it was so crazy. I hadn't seen or heard nothing about you from I got there in 2011. I hadn't heard nothing about you. So to see you there, I'm like, dang, they got Tiana. At the time, I thought I was playing, and I'm like, yo, this about to be ugly. But I remember the first practice, right? So I wasn't no dunker. You know what I'm saying? Yo, the first practice, I don't know if you remember, you threw it up. And you went and got it out the air and rocked it. Boom! I was like, I can't come up here and not, and everybody was dunking after that. I said, I can't come up here and not dunking. You feel me? I had to start trying, you know what I'm saying, getting my jump up. But when you said countable, all I could remember was your leadership. And you missed the beginning of the season. But when you got back, yo, it's like you felt right in line. You know what I'm saying? That just took me back to Randallstown where, yeah, you ain't played your freshman year. You wasn't around them at the beginning as much, but you fell in line. You know what I'm saying? And you ended up winning the Maryland JUCO MVP. So tell me about that.
That year, like you said, it was just coming out. My grades still wasn't focused, but like I always been a student of the game for real, no matter what. Like this is like you said, like I'm just a point guard and I just want to focus, see what this person good at, what he not good at. So as I was sitting out, like we were still practicing.
Right.
And I was telling y'all like, yo, these game days for me, I wasn't coming in as just all right, I'm getting my shots up and work out, stay in shape. Either he put me with the first team or the second team, I was taking it as we were playing in a real game.
Right.
And that's how it was with Randallstown. Like that first year, 9th grade, I used to just, like a lot of people don't know, I was sitting in the practices, like just sitting there, like just mad, like you really can't play. But it was clicking like, okay, that's that play. That's what he agreed at. Okay, he can do that. So when I came in, it was like, I wasn't trying to figure out how you play, how do you do this? So I found where I fit in at. And it was just like, yo, you ain't got to score. You ain't got really, you can play defense, but you ain't got to play the best guy. You can get steals in the passing lane, be that person. So that's why I come down to the glue guy. So that year, I knew he was coming in nothing but freshmen. Probably had like 7 freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
So then probably was probably 3 or 4 of us that was sophomores, ready to go, supposed to be leaving. So I was looking at it like, I've been them before. And I know what their mindset was. You got to think about it. Malcolm had the same resume as me as far as winning. And how do I come to yo, like, yo, you got to take the back seat.
Right.
Now, I knew what he was, all right, you like to score, Tone like to score, Dave already like to score. That's 3 Hawks, you feel me? I can't come back in the middle of the season like, all right, I'm the first Hawk.
Right.
So I'm like, all right. Where we had trouble at, we couldn't really win games. You get what I'm saying? Like, couple of games we lost. Hartford a couple times. It was
like the end of the game.
End of the game. You get what I'm saying? We couldn't close games.
So y'all was either blowing them out by 40, or y'all was in that dogfight. And don't get it twisted. A lot of those games y'all won, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
You feel me? And that's what clicked into me. Like, yo, why we keep losing games? And that's when I would, you feel me, relax and be like, it's your fault. Because granted, they was doing what they were doing, but they ain't had nobody to control the game.
Right.
All of them was scores. All of them just knew how to get a bucket. No knock to it, but when I came in, it was like, all right, I know how to control y'all.
Right.
I'm not scared of y'all. I'm not afraid to, you feel me, call the timeout, cuss y'all out. So once we all got rolling that way, it wasn't nothing. I wasn't tripping off scoring. I just knew, all right, we got to win the game. When I clicked to say, all right, you got to go back to the first year, was Maryland JUCO. Because I knew we just lost that previous year.
Right.
And I wasn't going to be on the court actually playing this year and not winning. So that's when I was like, all right, you got to hoop. They going to get their buckets, but you got to play. You got to be your player. So going into the game, I wasn't going into it like, yo, get 20. But after the game, when they told me, like, yo, you had a double-double all weekend, I'm like, for real?
Killing it.
I was lost because I wasn't locked in on my stats or anything. I was locked in to just, yo, we going to win this game.
Yeah.
So, not to jump to it, but that championship game against Cecil, when they was giving out the accolades and stuff, I grabbed Devin. Like, go ahead, Dave, get your MVP. He said, hey, that's yours. I'm like, no, you just had 20. Go ahead, get your W. He said, yo, you had 17 and 12. I said, huh? Like, I'm lost, for real. Like, all jokes aside, I didn't care about the stats, really. I just was winning. And that's how it panned out, for real. That year, I didn't click into, like, complete play until Maryland JUCO.
I want to let you know about me. I learned a lot from you that year just playing against you in practices. Like, yo, you had, like, tricks that, like, stop people from getting the ball other than your handles. Like, you used to hit people arms away. Yo, you was great at that, you feel me? I just want to let you know that I try my best to implement stuff like that into my game. I appreciate that. But yo, one thing I wanted to touch on too was going. So you going to Houston? You signed a letter of intent to go to Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you had to take 2 classes that summer to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You got it done, and you know, throughout this whole thing, I think the theme of it is, you know, you always had to get your grades together in order to get what you want on the court. So now you had another opportunity where you need to get your grades together. But I read earlier that your first year in Houston, right? You made like all honors or something, right, in school. I thought that was just,
That's tough, bro.
I thought that was like too crazy.
See, like, I appreciate that though, bro. But like, mainly what I learned from that year for failing off, like, a lot of people always say, yo, don't let basketball use you. So I had to really figure out, like, yo, you're not a school person. How can I maneuver? How can I get around? I just find one, like, either an academic advisor or a teacher that would really sit down and take 3 hours with me, get 2 to 3 weeks ahead. So that's how, like, of Hagerstown, he's like, yo, how you in the gym so much? I already got 3 weeks worth of work done. I was trying to get ahead, so when I got to Houston, I'm looking like, nah, this 3 times bigger than Hagerstown. I got 3 more times work to do, so I was like, hold up, yo.
Right.
How we gonna get this done? I found the advisor, did what I had to do to get ahead. And that was the best thing for me, because then, like you said, after my senior year, I had another semester to finish the schoolwork to graduate. The one basketball advisor, she didn't think me and one of my teammates could get it done in a semester. So she had us planned out for the whole year. We were like, nah, we knocking this out. She didn't realize, like, we were so focused on it. Like, we already had everything planned out. Figured out the classes. The advisor that we was working with had it planned out for us.
That's too cool, bro.
So she like, how y'all do that? We just didn't let her know nothing about it, but that was mainly the thing, finding somebody that was really going to take time to sit down with me, because I wasn't going to be straight up focused on that. I'm at a university, I'm in Texas, trying to see what that's like. Houston, D1, we on the road a lot, traveling, practicing in the morning, practicing all day. You barely got time for yourself, so I had to figure it out. I just had to, some nights, I just be I'm in the computer room doing tests.
Tough.
Doing them, boom. I come out later, catching, you feel me? Or kickbacks and all that, I catch that later. But that was mainly the thing, finding an academic advisor or a teacher that really was going to help me out. I learned that at Hagerstown.
Right. Tell us about jumping from JUCO to D1, and then we gonna talk post Houston.
So jumping from Hagerstown to Houston, like, far as the game, nothing really, like, what you supposed to be doing, nothing really changed, but just the tempo,
For sure.
the intensity, like the atmosphere, all that was just
competition too, right?
Competition, big time, yeah. So that went up 10 times for real. So I was just like, man, gotta snap back to it. But what hit me was, like, I went back to the point guard, Tiana, when I got to Houston. So I was like, all right, it's already 5 of me here. Yo, there ain't no point of you coming here trying to get 20. He can get 20. He got 20 last year. Big man in the middle can score. So you gotta be a point guard. But the main thing that I had to adapt to was, like, basically the being in shape. It's a different level of being in shape.
For sure.
D1, like, everybody say, yeah, I'm fit, I work out every day, I'm in the gym, but being in game shape is a whole different level.
Yeah.
So that's what really was, like, being in shape. Then I realized, like, yo, yeah, you making it being the size you is, but you gotta go in the weight room. You gotta run. You gotta do the extra stuff outside of practice, outside of school, outside of class. So just focusing on yourself and being really in the gym, being a gym rat, being in the weight room, that was the biggest difference. That was the biggest change I had to make.
But you ended up graduating. Congratulations to that. What's next? Tell me about the process of becoming a pro, because, you know, I had His and Fresh, and they went to all these camps before, you know, not getting drafted. So tell me about that for you.
See, my path with the pro route was kind of different, because, like, I wasn't really, I can say, not saying I wasn't focused on it, but I had a son.
Right.
You feel me? So I had a son. So my path was kind of different. I came back and wanted to give my son time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I wanted to get back into the pro, it was like already 3 years down the line. But
Got you.
getting into it is just like, it's just a job for real. Really, like, it's a job and it's a business for real. Like, if you ain't ready to work every day and can't take the lows and the highs of it, it's gonna be tough for you. So, and like you saying, like, his and Fresh, like, they went the same route I went as far as the JUCO, D1, and pro. And I watched it, and I respect it, and I give them all praise. So, theirs was different. I really, like, kind of stopped after my first 2 years, and, like, this is like, all right, you ain't really getting the look you want, the offer you want.
Right.
Even though I should have been humble enough and be like, all right, stepping stone.
Right.
But I didn't. Then I took another break, and I had another child for real. So, but going to the main thing is just a job, really. Like, bro, it's just a focus. You gotta really want it. You gotta know that it's always 100 of you.
Oh, yeah.
It's 100 of you for real, no matter what. And then, like we know, Iz and them probably told you, Fresh probably told you, it's 1,000 teams. Somebody always needed somewhere. You get what I'm saying?
For
but
sure.
If you ain't ready to, if you ain't working for it, God ain't gonna bless you with it for real.
For sure. But, I mean, even through those processes, right, that you went through, you know, you still found a way to hoop. And shoot, last year, semi-pro, you ended up winning the championship. You know what I'm saying? And, yo, when I look at Tione Womack, I'm always saying, like, yo, he found a way to get it done. No matter where he's at, no matter what level, no matter what's going on, he finds a way to get it done. And that's what I always appreciated about even just knowing your game. You know what I'm saying? One last thing. Let's talk about you do working out. You do skills work.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I was telling Nell, like, if I ever have a son, I'm sending him to you, right? Tell me what going the process of working out the youth. Even I'm sure even some adults even come to you wanting to know stuff. Tell me the process of that.
Well, it was really like, it was a pick your poison. Like, it was probably like one of the last year I was thinking about even still playing. And Bullock sat down and was like, yo, either you going to focus on the hooping or you going to use your talent and give it back. Mm-hmm. So I had to really sit down with myself and like, do you really want to still chase it or you really bought into it? And at the time, I had to be real with myself. Losing my father really was like kind of a big blow in the basketball part of my life for real. Because he was the one that put the ball in my hand. So, yeah, I still wanted to chase it, but that wasn't really like a passion for me.
Right.
And I was like finding my passion just off of just like people hit me, yo, you still hooping? Can you work my son out with this? And so that really, I always had that thought in my head, and I always wanted to coach no matter what, because it's just being a point guard, you want to help out, give pointers and all that. That just come with it. So when I sat down and did that, I was just like, yo, you might as well start training. Mm-hmm. Use it and give back to it. So when I did it, when I jumped into the field, I told him, I told Bullock, like, I don't know how it's going to go, and I don't want to step on nobody's toes because of what I know of myself.
Right.
So when I started training, it was just like, it was a natural gift for real. Just like, yo, give back everything you went through, everything you did from beginning till your last day of really actually playing serious. Mm-hmm. That's what I tried, give back to the kids. And then I mainly focus on what I do, and that's playing point guard, handling the ball, IQ, controlling the game, knowing how to do read and react, little stuff like that. So if you come in the gym 9 times out of 10, you're going to get to work, but at the same time, you're going to get challenged to be a point guard and work on your ball handling, work on your how to get to the cup, how to read, the help, stuff like that. So I just give back what I've used in the game to kids, even at the younger age, to the older age group, to like adults, pros.
Yeah. You did mention your pops. Yo, I remember your pops from when he's at every game. Every game, yo. He's just the coolest, chillest dude, you feel me? Like, just tell me what he meant to you, bro.
He meant a lot to me, yo. Like, the way though it's really, you can't really explain it because it's like you really had to be there to really understand it. Like, but a lot of people don't realize, like, work ethic was installed to me, like, before I even started with Chick-Webb, for real, bro. Like, I lived on Chick-Webb Court right behind Johnson Square. It was times like I would get woke up like, huh, what we doing? Like, what's going on? All I see is a ball. He walked me over to the court. We working out. I didn't understand what that was doing, you feel me? But now, as I'm older, when I'm in workouts, I just find myself going harder. It's not a problem for me to work out.
Right.
It was already installed. So, and then like he was a coach. So on top of games, getting coached with your coach, I'm going in the house. So you know you turned the ball over right there.
Yeah.
Why you do that? Why you think? I'm like, yo, can I get a break? So it's just like, he installed this to be work effort in me.
Right.
To never be comfortable or complacent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think that just stuck with me the most. And then on top of that, like you said, he was in the basketball field.
Yeah, for sure.
He was either helping out or he was either watching the game, giving back to the community. And that's where I think the training part come from too, honestly. Because like a lot of his teams or the teams you seen him coaching, they wasn't kids that you knew from playing basketball.
Right.
These was neighborhood kids, like kids that was outside. They wasn't trying to hoop.
For sure.
That's what I think I admired the most out of him for real. Because he would walk in the middle of Perkins, find 3 little niggas like, yo, you coming to play with me? I'm like, yo, we in the middle of Perkins. I'm like 10, like, you like, go ahead over there and hoop with them. I'm
Right.
like, you coming over here with me? He's like, nah, you good. With times like, you probably wasn't going to the camp, but you remember Duke?
Yeah.
Duke, Juvie, every times he took me over west. I'm like, what's going on? Why I'm going to summer camp over here? He just, yo, watch it. I'm like, yo, I'm going to summer camp with them, but me not knowing, he already had planned. Duke played with him before.
Okay, yeah.
So it was a comfortable thing. So I'm just like, I got like, as I get older, it's like, yo, he really used to take the less talented and really make them feel like they can play basketball.
Right.
Throw them against Johnny's, throw them against Chick-Webb teams.
Yeah.
Throw them against Madison. They really would perform to where as though they'd be looking like, yo, they've been playing basketball their whole life, but it really probably like 2 months.
And still in confidence.
And, you feel me? And still in confidence and all that. So that's like me watching it back in the day. I'm just like, I didn't get it.
You ain't understand it.
I ain't understand it.
But now that you're grown,
it's just like it was a test.
Right.
Like, could you handle being out there by yourself? And I wasn't thinking of it. Yeah, I got into the little tussles on the court playing, getting fouled and all that. But as I got older, it really stuck with me. Like, you one of the little guys on the court.
Right.
But I always, like you said, found my way in the mix some way, somehow. And I wasn't, I was fearless, really. I didn't care how big he was. So he installed all that, like, young age, like 6, 7. And it just stuck with me, just to play that way and be that way.
Yo, and like I said before, yo, it showed in your game. We wrapping up. We just gonna do some quick hitters real quick, bro. Real quick. Who your favorite 5 point guards in the city?
Overall, or how you doing, generation wise, or just overall?
Any ones you like, overall.
See, a lot of people, well, I look at the point guard role different.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people probably don't respect it or agree with it, but I can go with
Your list.
My list, generation wise, just watching it and just like, because I've been around it with my father a lot. But I'm going to say Malcolm, Tyler, that went up there.
Yep.
A lot of guys, well, a guy that's, because I grew up under him, people probably wouldn't put them in their top 5 no matter what. It's Ashton. Ashton taught me a lot. Honestly, he was the first person to make me cry on the basketball court.
Right, yeah.
I remember Ashton. It was embarrassing. Just keep getting crossed, getting dropped. So he got to be in my top 5. He showed me handles without even teaching me. You feel me? So
right.
He in my
dropped
top
a lot of people too, bro.
You feel me? So I got to put him in my top 5.
Right.
And just overall, I throw Maurice Barksdale in there. And who else can I put it?
One more, bro. You can say you. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I'm going to say Troy Franklin.
Ooh, I want
Troy Franklin.
Yeah.
As far as just what I grew up watching and who
Yeah.
really competed with me when I was really like that really was dead, like on the point guard tip. But
He was
those
one of
guys
them.
really like stuck out to me a lot. And I can go more guards, but as a point guard, they really stuck out to me. And I can go down the line like why and what it was about them. But them five, like Troy, because it was just competing. We always competed no matter
sure.
what. Rebo was just like him and Tyler. It was just like they controlled the city at a point in time.
Yes,
you
they
get what I'm
did,
saying?
bro.
And just watching the difference in their game. Tyler was flashy. He was
good.
when he was getting whatever he wanted,
Yeah.
no matter what. Rebo was controlling the game. He can give you 20, but he was chill, laid back. When it was time to turn it on, he turned it on. Then he'd strap you up. That was another thing a lot of people didn't realize. I admired him. He played defense, yo.
Yeah.
Like Rebo was playing defense. And then with Malcolm just like you gotta mirror his game. He's an IQ guy.
Yeah.
Make the right play. And that's what I respected.
I think it's funny you said a lot of people probably disagree with your top five, which is cool because I feel like you one of the last like point guards. Mm-hmm. Everybody a combo now, right? Mm-hmm. I played with a lot of guys, whether it be semi-pro, pickup, high school, JUCO, whatever. You probably my favorite point guard to play with, bro. I'm not gonna lie, because you see stuff like before it happened. Like you'll be telling me to go ahead, and I'm like, what I'm running here for? I'm used to a point guard telling me to go ahead so I can get out their way so they can go get a bucket. You trying to set me up to get a bucket, and it took me a minute to plan with you to get that. But then it'll be times where it's like, all right, now I know it's time for me to turn it on. So definitely I want to give you your flowers for your IQ, bro. And any of the top point guards that anybody else will name, you go at it with them. Mm-hmm. Like they might don't put you in the top five, but all of those top five guys respect your game. Mm-hmm. So that's big time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, bro. That's all we brought you on here for, bro. I wanted people to know your story because, yo, you like I told you, you was one of my favorites playing against. And, you know, a lot of people, like he said, like when they mention point guards, they might not put you in a top five, whatever. But yo, you need to be mentioned, bro.
The top five know what's up though.
Yeah. So that's another episode of Built From Nothing podcast. I want to thank Tione Womack for coming through. We sponsored by Mob Ties. You know what I'm saying? Go cop some gear from him. That's my guy B Fields. And that's the end of the episode. Catch you next time.